Video number 3, the dreaded inside takeaway. Now, you know, if you follow me, okay, on Instagram at Travis Fulton Golf, Twitter at Travis Fulton, go check him out, that the inside takeaway kind of bothers me because when I see a player take it too far to the inside behind them, then I know, I mean, they're just at a disadvantage to make a full turn to the top and to get the golf club to kind of work around their body in a way that I would like to see, that I would consider kind of a reasonable swing shape, right? That kind of improves the probability of the impact position. I have fixed millions of inside takeaways, and it has made a dramatic improvement on the sequence of events that happen after that. Now, I've got this alignment stick down for the target line. I'm just setting the club face up to it. And when I take it back, inside takeaway, the club head gets in behind the hands early. And you can see a couple different things here. Sometimes I see a player who kind of bows that wrist down, that lead wrist excessively this way. Talked about that in video 2, the excessive close club face. But inside, you'll notice the shaft's parallel to the ground, but it's not parallel, say, to the target line, right? It's in behind me. Sometimes I'll see a player, they'll take it inside and they'll rotate the face too open. And then sometimes it's square. You can see different things with the club face, okay, depending upon the grip and what they do with the lead wrist. But it's not always inside and closed, always, okay? It can be inside and open, like this, okay, where the toe is pointing now more up to the sky, and my left hand has rotated more up to the sky. Regardless, the shaft, okay, is not parallel to the target line. What we want to do is get it more, you know, like this. We want to get these to match up. You can imagine if the target line was extended, that this is parallel to that, thereabouts. And we got room. This doesn't have to be perfect. But that dreaded inside takeaway. Now, what I see from here is I'll see it go in, and then you'll see it go up. So it kind of goes in, up, and then where? Yes. Out and across. See that a ton, okay? It goes in, and it goes up, and then it's got to come out this way and across. Very steep from the outside. And that's usually a player who kind of has the face rotating more open to the inside. Sometimes you'll see a player, and this is usually a lower handicap, a better player, who will take a little inside closed, and then they'll kind of keep it in there, right? And they'll keep it in there, and they'll hit it more on that inside path, right? And that's usually a better player who does kind of keep it in there. Now, they'll adjust the ball position, they'll move it back in the stance, because that low point it'll occur earlier, so they move it back, and they'll just drive that path out to the right. And they'll hit more of a push draw, and that can get too big sometimes. Just like the player who takes it inside open, they go this way, right, and then across, and then they're kind of hitting more of that pull fade, and that dispersion can get problematic as well. So you just kind of have to ask yourself, am I okay with that, or do I want to clean that up? I want to clean up that inside takeaway. Number one in fixing this is we've got to get the club head working more up, okay? We've got to get the club head working more up. That's the dimension that oftentimes is overlooked. Now, I'm a fan of the trail elbow folding some. Okay, you can see me folding my elbow. I'm not doing this. I'm not going this way. I'm just kind of folding it as if I was going to pick up something. Okay? If I do that with the grip, I feel like I'm picking the club head up. See that? Up, not low. I don't like low. Inside takeaway, I don't like low. Don't take it back low. Get the club head working up. Right elbow. I like that. You can also use the lead wrist, a little bit of a wrist cock. Okay? A wrist cock gets the shaft working up the line of the lead arm. Okay? It's vertical. Okay? It's going up and down the wall. It's not horizontal. Okay? Don't do this. You got too much of this. Don't go this way. Go this way. Okay? So I could use my right elbow and a little bit of my left wrist cock, and you can see how that gets things working a bit more out and up. I'm okay with the left wrist. I kind of prefer the right elbow a little bit more. I don't like players to get crazy here where you're just adding all this excessive wrist cock, but a little bit can do you good, right? So if you can see how I put those two together and I add a little turn with it, okay, with my shoulders, you can see now how things start to shape up differently. And I think it's important that you see the club head more out in front of the hands, right? Almost like a la Matthew Wolf, right, who's here, okay? I think it's important for you to see that, because if you see that and you feel that, the reality is it's probably going to be about right here when it's parallel. But we're turning with it. You've got to turn your shoulders, your chest, your hips are starting to turn. We're turning with it, keeping the lead arm attached, okay? This is important. Oftentimes in fixing the club head, I see the hands working away from the body sometimes. So we kind of we shove the hands and the lead arm out there. Don't do that. Keep the lead arm attached. Keep your hands more in. Your hands are, in over the right toe. We're trying to fix the club head relationship to the hands. That's all. Shoving this out there, oftentimes, you'll see it work the other way. You see that a lot. Okay, that's another inside takeaway occurrence that I see. Lead arm goes out, we lose that pressure point, and then the club head gets in behind it. When it's just the reality is we should do the opposite. Hands in, club head out. Okay? So there's some different combinations here, but we're kind of cleaning it up all together. Now, I said hands in, club head out. When I did that, here's what I really felt different in my lead wrist. I felt my right elbow folding, but this versus this. Okay? The big difference here is the lead wrist feels a little more extended, a little more cupped. Okay? This way. Not this way. This way. A little cuppy. Feel a little cuppy there. And when I get a little cuppy there, all right, now I feel like the handle, almost like a little a la Ben Hogan, I feel like I'm kind of dragging the handle a little bit. The handle's moving that way, and it's taking the club head a little time to catch up. Right? Sometimes I'll come in here and I'll put my foot on the student's club head right here, and then I'll have them take it back. And when they do that, I'm not letting the club head go, but the handle does, and they feel that lead wrist go that way, not that way. Okay? See, the club head traveled 6 feet in behind me, and I haven't even turned yet. Now, if I go the other way, now I'm starting to turn. Because of that left wrist condition, more cupped, I'm starting to turn more, much more turn to get to this position versus just letting it go like this, okay? So I'm exhausting this first move. It's that important, okay? Am I exaggerating to some degree? I am. I want you to see these exaggerations. If you follow me and you know me well enough, you know I'll tend to exaggerate movements so you can see it, right? Because usually these movements can be a little excessive as far as the fault. So the fixes can be a little exaggerating. And generally speaking, I would rather have you too much this way. Club shaft gets parallel to the ground, club head's lost side of the hands. Because if we do this, if we get the club head working up and out in front of us, the hands are in with the lead arm attached, I'm turning. Well, now with that, now I can make a much better turn in my shoulders and my hips. Inside takeaways, whether it's this in here or some of this, whatever. Man, it will decrease and shrink your turn just like that. Okay? Because when you get it inside behind you early, the last thing you're going to do is probably keep turning. You're going to get it so far wrapped behind you that you can't get to it. Okay? So again, we kind of tend to go here, and then we start to see a little lift, and then the body starts taking on faults. And we're going to get to some of those specific body faults later. But the body starts, I see a lot of sways, okay, where you get lateral this way. I'll see some reverses, right, because we start to lift it, and the spine starts to kind of excessively lean to the left. Okay? And you'll see some other stuff. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that'll happen. I also see the body just not turn. Like, I'll see the club head go inside, and then like the body, in particular the lower body, just doesn't turn at all. Okay? It just stays stagnant. So the ability now to turn better, shoulders and hips because of this. I mean, it is, the gate has opened for you to turn, so it goes around you, and now it becomes really much more likely where you can start to shallow it out from the inside and turn and hit it. So you're no longer that person who goes in, up, over the top. You go more out here, then around, and now back down underneath. And man, when you change that, the probability of impact goes in your favor. So these are some things, some feelings to fix it. Okay, talked about the right elbow, talked about the lead wrist, as far as cocking the wrist some, and even I like kind of cupping it, a little drag, a little Ben Hogan, right? And we start putting those pieces together, we start feeling like, okay, my lead arm's attached to my body. I can turn so my hands can come in, but I'm keeping the club head out in front of me, square face, toe slightly down. Just work on that. Get that down. Exaggerate it. If you're this person, get rid of it, okay? Get rid of it. I can count on one hand how many tour players that play for a living that get that club head trapped inside early. It just is not conducive to good golf. It can happen, right? There's outliers to everything. Amateur golfer playing once in a while, let's clean that up because now we can turn, we can do all the things that we want to do from there.